The Sonic the Hedgehog films, the little blockbuster franchise that could. It seems like only yesterday when the first Sonic film was nearly universally mocked and maligned for who we now know as Ugly Sonic. However, where most production companies would just take the loss and try a reboot again in a few years, Jeff Fowler's original Sonic film did something entirely unprecedented. It listened to the pre-release criticism, whether it was all an elaborate marketing ploy or not. One redesigned a sequel and a Paramount Plus spin-off series later, and the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise has become one of the most successful in the ongoing rise of video game adaptations. The films very clearly found a formula that works, and the Sonic the Hedgehog 3 follows that formula to a T. This new anime, that being the fan favorite anti-hero Shadow the Hedgehog, Keanu Reeves, is by far their most challenging foe yet, and it begins to become apparent that they may not be able to defeat Shadow alone. This leads Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles to do the unthinkable by forming an unlikely alliance with their orc nemesis. While sometimes this delves into the melodramatic, such as when he got his own spin off game that saw Shadow use real firearms, he is still preserved as a true gaming icon. This certainly puts a lot of pressure on a perfectly cast Keanu Reeves, but Sonic the Hedgehog 3 still delivers. Shadow's adaptation in Sonic the Hedgehog 3 continues the franchise's ongoing trend of being a true crowd pleaser both for hardcore fans and casual audiences alike. Shadow's character arc, which is largely unchanged from the source material, provides a great emotional core for the film, being developed just enough to help the audience care about his moral dilemma. Shadow also benefits from one of the best action sequences we have seen in the sequences yet, including a wacky and visually dazzling final battle. The one complaint that could be attributed to Shadow is Keanu Reeves' voice performance. It's far from terrible by any means. So Reeves has done quality voice work in the past with projects like Toy Story 4, and while Shadow is a much less charismatic character than Duke Kaboom, the character sometimes feels a bit too much like John Wick but as a hedgehog, which probably will not be a complaint for most. Ben, Colin, and Elba all do a great job as Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles respectively, but let's be completely honest here. Jim Carrey is the real star of the trilogy. Carrey's signature brand of improvisational comedy serves him well once again, as his gleefully cartoonish villain continues to be a highlight of this recent acting works. The Sonic movies are comedies at the end of the day, and the Sonic Hedgehog 3 brings a lot of humor along with it. Carrie is the obvious source of a lot of it, but one sequence involving the location where a character decides to reveal Shadow's tragic backstory completely straight-faced is a subtly hysterical creative choice. Not all the jokes land, as admittedly some of the pop culture references and jabs fall a bit flat. Overall, Sonic the Hedgehog 3 ends a refreshingly consistent trilogy that is just as good as its predecessors. One could easily argue that Shadow and the Dr. Robotnik's be even better, but while this is a definitive end for a trilogy, it's also very clearly not the end of the franchise, especially given the film's several end credit sequences. Paramount has already teased its ambitious plans for the Sonic saga, and if the series wants to live up to of something like the MCU, then it needs to learn how to take things to the next level and go from a trilogy of really good movies to a franchise made up of really great ones. Sonic the Hedgehog 3 is certainly pointing things in the right direction. Sonic the Hedgehog 3 comes to cinemas on December 20.